new home, but in fact is an older structure originally built in 1924. Extensive additions and renovations. Michael Egan, he of course is the founder and former chairman of Alamo Rent-A-Car. A piece of waterfront property listed for $8 million has been reduced from $10 million. Our good friend Ted Grubbs around the corner and to the right. This is not just creative landscaping, it's a hint. Wayne purchased this motorcycle a few years ago. It's perfect reviews for locals, as most people around here know Wayne already has a big house 2 blocks away ahead and to the left. If he already had a huge home on the river, what did he need a new one for? Wayne had planned on doing some renovations to his old house, so we simply bought this new one to live in. Show you his original. See the for sale signs on the corners. Classic structure, originally built in 1926, although Wayne's added onto it considerably over the years. House today, still undergoing renovation work. Features a 10-car garage. Older home coming up on the right, 2-story gray in color home, Hollywood types. Seen in and around the swimming pool back in the 30s and 40s before a lot of them moved on to Miami, most of course headed to Palm Beach. Also on the right coming into view, one of the largest, most beautiful, certainly the most expensive house you'll see out here today. Home has a nickname, it's called the Maison Blanc, translated from French, it means the White House. When the home comes into full view, you can see it somewhat resembles the White House in Washington, D.C. However, the view here considerably better than the one looking down Pennsylvania Avenue. The home recently broke all Fort Lauderdale real estate records when it was listed for $35 million. It's been reduced to $28.5 million.
Oh, what a deal.
So if you bought the house, you'd still need to scrape together a little pocket change to pay the nearly $600,000 a year in property taxes. So whoever said you can't buy happiness just didn't know where to look. You can start right here. They wrap around the swimming pool. When the helicopter gets close to the yacht, the water drains out of the swimming pool, the floor raises from the bottom of the pool and becomes the helicopter pad. If that's a little too steep for your budget, the beautiful yacht Pegasus, also to our left, charters for 340,000 euros for 1 week's use this summer in the Mediterranean. 2 very nice yachts as we pass underneath the bridge off to the left-hand side. Beautiful motor sailor, actually the longest sailing vessel to arrive here in Fort Lauderdale so far this season. It's on its inaugural around-the-world voyage. The yacht directly off to our left, known as Inception, used to be called Man of Steel, and at that time it was owned by a gentleman from Toronto, Canada, involved in the steel industry. You see passengers are already on board the Emerald Princess. It will leave town around 5 o'clock this afternoon, along with another cruise ship directly ahead of us. Of course, the smaller empty lot next door also was the location of another older wooden construction home that just could not stand up to the 130-mile-an-hour winds. It was totally destroyed as well. Custom built. Howard made extra money. The price recently dropped at the boat show from $12 million to a steal at $8.5. Looking directly ahead of us, you'll see the palm trees on the beach. Used to be a house that started many years ago, bought in a $2 million home, tore it down, and built this $12 million estate in its place. That just wasn't enough, so he went next door and bought the house next door. To the right, you see the tennis court, tore the house down and built the tennis court. That's right, take a look to the right, you'll see the only tennis
town. Man, you must really like tennis.
Digging 3 houses ahead of the large 3-story dormers on top. Used to be home to the owners of Lady of America Fitness Center. They lived there. They were avid power loaders and a huge speedboat at the dock around the dock. Beautiful estate. Our friend Tim Elm has that up for sale. Not sure the listing price. I'm sure it's several millions of dollars. And take a look, 2 homes out of that large plot home, white color, coming into view the green awnings. It's originally filmed or used in the filming many episodes of Miami Vice, TV series that was filmed here in South Florida. It's got a lot of interesting stories and a lot of filming and gun battles and whatnot. We're here, the neighbors, I'm sure, loved it. It's a very unique house, though. As we get a little bit closer, you can see the swimming pool is very small. That's because we're only looking at about a third of the swimming pool. There's a glass wall behind it. Swim underneath the glass wall, come up and live in. The home's been on the market several times. They tried to sell it, had no luck, so they offered a roll place. The problem is, it's only 1 bedroom. That's right, it's the ultimate bachelor pad. Wayne Heisman. He sold the house to Mike Maroney. Mike Maroney sold his 25 car dealerships to Wayne Heisinger. Today, Mike Maroney is currently the head of Auto Nation, owned by Wayne Heisinger. My God, it's like a soap opera.
I didn't catch on that.
And of course, get the cameras out for this one. One of the highlights of the tour, beautiful Meisner-style home with lanterns on the seawall. Originally built in the 1930s, this home most famously used in the filming of the 1960s movie that put this city on the map and created what we know today as Spring Break. That's right, that movie, Where the Boys Are, starring Connie Francis and Mr. Suntan George Hamilton. Incidentally, both actors lived in this house while filming that historic movie that put this city, the most expensive part of the New River, and he pays considerably less in property taxes than his neighbors do. And if you've been riding around with us, getting some ideas to put a fountain in your backyard, when you get home, have a look off to the right-hand side. How about this little piece? Of course, it gives you a view all the way to Miami Beach. The less desirable view to the north, all the way to Palm Beach. They're both empty. They're both actively for sale. They also include their own private boat dock, their own private parking garage, and of course their own private elevator that takes them from their parking garage and lets them out right in the center of the living room. Once again, 2 units taking up the top 3 floors. The real estate agent told us they're both empty.
There's no little houses up on this.
Donnie Brasco, you'll see Al Pacino running around like a crazy person on the top deck of this yacht. It's pretty funny. This is known as the hardest working boat in town. And of course, if we look off to the right-hand side, you can see why folks love to live in my old neighborhood of Los Alamos. You're able to tie your boat up, as we did, right in the backyard. Right next door, you always buy the smallest house on the best street. This is it. Small house, double lot, 4 comfortable chairs on the dock. Gentleman lives like a billionaire at the most expensive part of the New River, and he pays considerably less in property taxes than his neighbors do.